Well, hello, everybody. It is live on KEXP, and I'm your host, Troy Nelson, from listener-powered independent 90.3 FM, KEXP in Seattle, and 92.7 in San Francisco. And also, we are streaming 24/7 at KEXP.org and our free mobile apps. And these live performances are made possible by people like you. So thank you so much for supporting KEXP so we can get these exclusive, one-of-a-kind performances from these wonderful artists. And we are all very happy here at KEXP today because we have Cassandra Jenkins live in the KEXP live room. And if you are all ready, take it away. Yeah, you can go right into it. You're listening to Cassandra Jenkins live on KEXP.
This one seen just about every state. When it came time to take the keys away, she said, hey, 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 hey. to the ocean. Heard someone order the Clams Casino. I said, hey, what's that? They said, I don't know. Her voice echoes in my head. Why'd you have to go and do me like that? Don't you know I'm looking at my last chance? I might never land on solid ground. Part of me will always be in the clouds in my own suit in a hotel room. But I don't wanna laugh alone anymore. I don't wanna laugh alone anymore. I don't wanna laugh alone anymore. I don't wanna laugh alone
Fantastic. You are listening to Cassandra Jenkins live here in the KEXP live room and playing lots of songs from the new album, My Light, My Destroyer, which we've been loving so much here at KEXP.
Thank you. Here's one called Only One. Seasick and come to tear off another page. Blink my eyes open. Punch the clock in the face. love.
Wonderful. It's Cassandra Jenkins live on KEXP.
So these are real things that happen where you can apply these important concepts and understand that when we lose our connection to nature, we lose our spirit, our humanity, our sense of self.
A security guard stopped me to offer an overview on phenomenal nature. She said, sculpture is not just formed from penetration. You see, men have lost touch with the feminine. And with her pink lipstick and her queen's accent, she went on for a while about our president. I asked the bookkeeper at the end of the 7th grade to tell me what he knew about Saint Germain. And he told me about chakras and karma and the purple flame. He told me about the birth of the cosmos, the ascended masters, and the astral plane. He said, you know, the mind is just a hard drive in this life. The mind is just a hard drive. And Daryl's been teaching me how to drive. I finally got my license when I was 35. Speeding up the west side, changing lanes. He reminds me to leave room for grace. He said, have you been seeing your therapist? You seem a little on edge. Are you always this nervous? I said, this is a hard drive. This is just a hard drive. Yeah. And I ran into Perry at Lola's place. Her gemstone eyes caught my gaze. She said, honey, I can see you've had a rough few months, but this year's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna count to 3 and tap your shoulder so we can put your heart back together. All those little pieces they took from me, they're coming back now. They're gonna miss me too. So close your eyes, count to 3. Take a deep breath. Count with me. She said 1, 2, 3. All right, 1, 2, 3. sweep the floors, but I'm talking to you. I see your eyes in the Delphinium too. I've become a servant to their blue. Chin up. Stay on task. Wash the windows. Count the cash. I picked up another couple of shifts. I hear your voice when I'm closing. Nights fall like thorns off the roses. All around me the narcissus bloom. I picture the sun hitting you. The air is filled with their perfume. Stay on task. Wash the windows. Count the cash. Cut the stems to make them last. Keep it cool. Behind the glass. With their perfume.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time, sharing your music with all the listeners today.
Thank you so much for having us. This is the best.
Awesome. It's the best having you here. Here we are in the KEXP live room with the one and only Cassandra Jenkins, who was born on the Friday the 13th during a full moon.
Yes, indeed.
How cool is that?
Did your research. Way back to the source.
And here we are in the KEXP studios. How are we all doing today?
Great.
Awesome.
How about you guys?
Yeah, I
Great.
mean, you can answer for everybody, or everyone's doing good. You all look fantastic, sound fantastic. Got an awesome saxophone in the band.
We do. And the person playing it, who's also awesome.
Yeah,
It's a robotic, it's an animatronic
I
thing,
thought that was
actually.
I thought that was AI. That's an actual human. Nice. Yeah, you never know these days.
The Cassandra Jenkins band is getting very advanced.
Yeah, you're keeping up with the times. Cassandra, I have a few questions for you, and I'm always so curious about people's beginnings in their musical journey and rewinding all the way back to your beginnings. You grow up in Manhattan, and you come from a very musical background, a musical family, with your dad being a piano player and your mom, Sandra, being a bass player. Did they teach music to you? Is that where you learned how to play music?
Yeah, very much so. Someone asked me where I first began. And I was like, my mom was playing bass in a casino band while she was pregnant with me. So I got those low frequencies from the very beginning. And yeah, my mom is also a teacher by trade. And we had music in the household since I can remember. And a lot of people coming through as well. If it wasn't my parents, it was their friends. And
yeah. Didn't they play on cruise ships in the 80s?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
The Sands Casino in Atlantic City was one of their mainstays. A few cruise ships, SPQR in Little Italy was a regular. And then a lot of the Hudson Valley hotels and motels was kind of their circuit. So, yeah,
awesome.
The Lynx Trio.
And then you had a family band as well, with your parents, with your siblings, and playing many folk festivals throughout your childhood.
Yeah.
When was the turning point where you started to think, I think I want to write my own songs and do my own thing? Was it when you went off to college for a while, or when was that turning point?
I mean, my first composition is called Thatho the Ghost. It was written when I was 5 years old, and it was a piano instrumental. But I think I started writing my own songs in high school. Like I was one of those kids where they gave you the option to write a song instead of an essay. And I was like, yes, please, sign me up. I'll write a song about Frankenstein. Thank you. And it wasn't really until I was in my late 20s that I started playing out solo and thinking like, oh, I can go to Pete's Candy Store in Brooklyn and play my songs on a Strat with absolutely no effects and a microKORG. I'll do that. And it was really only then I started to call my friends and say, hey, do you want to play with me? I can't pay you, but we might be able to get some drinks and have a good time.
Yeah.
So, probably my late 20s.
And you've released some fantastic solo records over the past few years, but also you have played with a bunch of other artists as well. Two of them I have had right here in the KEXP studios, and I'm talking about Eleanor Friedberger.
Of course. I was there with Noah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was so nice to meet Eleanor and talk with her. And also Craig Finn, who has been here in the KEXP live room. And I'm just curious how you have time to play with other artists, and if that's a role that you also enjoy and want to continue.
Oh my God, it's my favorite. Yeah, I think I'm getting more comfortable being in the position that I'm in today. But really, I feel like my goal is always to be an ensemble member. And I love singing harmonies. It's my absolute favorite thing in the world. And I love learning other people's songs and how they write songs. I feel like every time I'm in someone else's band, I'm in this like little university program in their brain and in the way that they think. And just being able to play music so collaboratively has really informed everything. I mean, both Eleanor and Craig, for example, influenced my songwriting so much because I really absorbed their music for years. And really watch how they are in a room with a crowd, how they handle different situations. And so, I think I'm always going to be playing with other people. And no matter what I'm doing with my, career, I'm just going to be playing music with my friends and my family.
I love that you say that, hearing how somebody else approaches a song or their song craft or, why they went to that chord and why they, I love that.
Or like when do you decide to like speak in a song or sing and,
right.
Yeah.
That's great. And speaking of artists that have been heavily influential to you, I want to say out loud some names to you, and I would like to know what they mean to you after you hear their name.
This feels like a game show now.
It's a little bit of a game show.
Let's go.
I'll be
Game
keeping
on.
score. Let's see. What does George Harrison mean to you?
Oh my God. It'll just like go straight to the jugular. George Harrison, it's so funny. I remember when he passed away, I was in New York and I went to the Imagine Circle that day. I was very sad. And a couple news reporters just saw me and my mom there, like crying. and came up to us. And I just remember saying all these things about like he was a bridge between the East and the West, and his music means so much to me and my family. And then they just picked some clip that was like, I love the Beatles.
They didn't pick anything deeper. It was just that. Yeah.
George Harrison also means like diminished chord to me. I feel like you'll hear that a lot on my record, Play Till You Win. I feel like each record has these little things that I'm obsessed with. And definitely a lot of George Harrison's solo records were a huge influence on that record, which came out in 2017. Mm-hmm. And you can hear it. It's like lush studio recording. Ian Davis did a lot of the string arrangements. All of these, Adam's playing guitar on that record.
Cool.
Noah's not playing drums on that one, but he's playing drums on My Light, My Destroyer.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. How about Lucinda Williams?
God. These are all my favorite people. Lucinda Williams, I basically return to her songwriting whenever I need guidance. I feel like she is sort of a North Star for me in terms of lyricism and how that weaves into melody, and just her delivery. Kind of on every level, I really look to her as a guide. And Fruits of My Labor is, I think, a song that I visit like every time I write a song. Mm-hmm. Just to check in.
Sure.
Just say, okay, how do I feel when I revisit one of my all-time favorite songs?
Yeah.
And, I think it's not to try to compare it, but just to, check in with the guides, check in with my idols.
Absolutely. I guess we have to also throw Emmylou Harris in there.
Yeah, I love her.
What about the Flying Burrito Brothers?
I feel like the Flying Burrito Brothers were like a later addition to my listening as I got older and started to get into more cosmic country and just trying to wrap my head around what that was. And because I always loved country music, I played folk music and country music with my family. And I wanted to know a little bit more about sort of outlaw country and cosmic country and sort of what lies beyond some of the stuff that I was aware of when I was younger, and just sort of the spirit behind it. Mm-hmm. And again, some of the songwriting and the instrumentation for sure. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think a lot of these things, you can hear different influences on different records, and My Light, My Destroyer, I was definitely like seeping in that stuff.
Yeah. And you have some characters show up in your...
Play Till You Win.
Oh, yeah.
Had to correct
Play Till You Win. Gotcha. You have some characters show up in your lyrics and your songs, and what can you tell us about Richard Jasmine?
Oh, my God. I thought you were going to say Richard Jenkins. Richard Jasmine also appears on that same record, Play Till You Win. Mm-hmm. I really love the sound of a recorded voice through a phone, the way that comes through in this sort of transmission from beyond. Mm-hmm. And Richard Jasmine left me a voicemail once because I made the mistake of giving him my number.
You met him when you were working at a farmer's market, right? He was this 90-year-old man and then you gave him your phone number, and all of a sudden the voicemail.
He was so charming, and he would roll up on his bicycle in his yellow sweater that was literally masking taped together, the collar to the bottom, and he would always bring me a treat from somewhere, and it usually had a bite taken out of it. So, and it usually came with a proposal of some kind, whether it was marriage or going to the opera. He loved opera. But I remember once, Zabar's was often the source of a lot of the treats, like a croissant, like half-eaten, a box of chocolates, one of them half-eaten. Just a little sign that he was there.
Hey, he's thinking about you.
Yeah. And he left me this voicemail, which is sort of like a secret track on Play Till You Win, and it's strange. It sounds strangely prophetic in this way, but also just so warm. And one day I just stopped seeing him, and you can only assume that he's passed.
Right.
But I didn't really get to say goodbye. But he's living on in that recording, and very much, I think that recording kind of was the beginning of me bringing people's voices into my music and feeling like there's a place for this here. I'm not really sure what it is. Right now it's a secret track, but later it
it ended up coming in as being like primary voices in my music.
Yeah, and I just love that. I've had a few of these people in my life where they would leave me messages or leave me emails, and I wasn't really responding, but they just kept going. Mm-hmm. And I think I saw somewhere that you had mentioned that eventually it just sounded like he was sort of speaking into the void, or
For sure.
maybe speaking to himself through these recordings.
Yeah, because I rarely called him back. I would
Right.
get these voicemails sort of regularly, and they were always sweet, always wishing me well, always saying like, "What are you doing out there?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, if you answered all of them, you would have no time to do anything else.
It's true.
And lastly, non-music related.
Go for it.
I know that you love the movie Wayne's World, and tell us about how that movie helped you when you were actually stuck in Aurora, Illinois.
Yeah, it's funny. We were just talking about it last night, in fact. There's, of course, the romantic interest in the film is named Cassandra. So that movie has, whether I like it or not, like has followed me around my entire life, being someone who was born in the 80s. And yeah, I feel like that movie is a part of my psyche. Mm-hmm. And I got marooned in Aurora, Illinois while I was on tour with Andy Schaaf and his wonderful band. And they had me on the tour bus, and I was opening for them solo. I got COVID at South by Southwest, mm-hmm. and about 5 shows in, I got that feeling where I thought, oh God, I need to find a hotel room and not leave that room for mm-hmm. a while. And I watched the bus pull out of the parking lot and wrote a song about it, and it's on My Light, My Destroyer. And a friend of mine called me and said, "Hey, it's not that bad. You're in the home of Wayne's World, Aurora, Illinois." And I thought, yeah, I'm just going to really live this. I'm going to really sink my teeth into where I am, even though I'm in the middle of nowhere, just like empty parking lots and sort of ambiguous office buildings. And I just put Wayne's World on and let it play over and over again while I drifted in and out of like fever dream. And sure enough, 5 days passed and I hopped back on the tour bus.
Did you end up being able to join that tour again?
I did,
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
But it was really hard. It made me realize how badly I wanted to be playing those shows, which was a really good kind of check-in with myself. You can take it for granted sometimes if you're tired or feeling worn down, but I realized, like, God, I really want to be there in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I really want to be at Big Ears.
Yeah.
But we're going to play at Big Ears this year.
Oh,
so
cool.
We're coming back. It'll bring everything full circle.
That's great. Yeah. And speaking of the new album, for this latest album, can you tell us what it was like working with Andrew Lappin?
Yeah. Andrew Lappin is just one of my favorite humans on the planet. Such an incredible producer, songwriter, engineer,
everything.
Instrumentalist, just like everything. Yeah. Such a deeply kind of like curious and studied person who's also just very intuitive, an incredible communicator. And that's something that we really connected on early on. We were introduced by other friends. I knew he had worked with Lorraine, and that's a band that I love, and lots of other folks. And we got together, and I'll never forget, we just had a drink at the bar just to kind of see what it was like to be in the same room. And he told me a story about his grandmother, and before I knew it, I was just like sobbing at the bar. And I was like, how did that person do that to me? I felt like immediately very close and connected. And then we just wrote a song together, and it's called Tape and Tissue. And from that point forward, he just became a confidant. And one thing led to another, and we just ended up making most of this record together and writing a lot and just having so much fun.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And sometimes you also capture audio outdoors. Yeah. And can you tell us about a day spent walking around with your binaural headphones?
Yeah. Yeah. I have this pair of Sennheisers. I'm pretty sure they're discontinued. I have 3 pair because when I found that out, I snatched up the last few.
Good idea.
And they were going for like $50 for a while. And they're noise canceling technology, so I can hear the world around me or cancel it out. And when I amplify it, it's almost like I'm walking through the world in high definition. And it brings about this sort of active listening that if you're up for it, in New York City, that's a lot. It's already a lot just to walk through the world, even with noise canceling headphones. But there are moments when I really want to tap in and feel closer to the street theater around me.
Yeah.
And I love going in there with treating the world just with that observer lens. It really feels like when you put those headphones on, it's like changing a lens.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm recording, sometimes I'm just walking around to practice listening. But yeah, it's funny the things that you capture or the things that you miss sometimes. And I record in the world. I record a lot of nature sounds as well. And sometimes I just record my friends and family. I'm usually telling them if I'm doing so. I try to be thoughtful about that. But sometimes I sneak in a few secret recordings.
Well, you want the candid moments too.
Yeah, well, especially when you come from a family of performers, like the minute they know that they're being recorded, it's like it
changes
turn on.
a little bit.
Yeah.
I've noticed myself doing that at times, and I'm like, how do I act natural when I know this is happening? It's near impossible. Yeah, or at least for me.
What's up, everyone?
Yeah, hi, cameras in the room. We're being ourselves, trust me. Well, Cassandra, once again, thank you so much for all the years of wonderful music. This new album, My Light, My Destroyer, just beautiful. And as I mentioned before, we've been loving it here at KEXP. And so we really appreciate you taking the time to stop by and share your music with everybody today.
Well, I love KEXP so much, and thank you for all the support over the years. It's so good to be here.
Absolutely. Well, once again, you have been listening to Cassandra Jenkins live on KEXP.
Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.